Well, we've got quite a week. She's obviously got quite a week ahead of her. Primetime Live spent 3 months investigating diamond frauds. Their assignment was to buy quality diamonds at the best price. Let's see what happened. In New York, Primetime bought a near colorless stone for $3,300. When they had it graded by gem experts, they found a color so bad that nothing else mattered.
If you could imagine Sophia Loren, for example, without a nose, you wouldn't say, well, what about the rest of her? You know, it's too late.
Misrepresentation is another problem. After paying $5,600 for a diamond, this schoolteacher found a crack in it, which the jeweler had camouflaged with a chemical. And what about home shopping deals? Well, this ring was said to be worth $1,200. It was offered for only $399.95. But even an amateur can see the black spots and flaws under a microscope.
Most jewelers would never sell them. They would just scrap them, and they would be ground up for industrial use.
Well, please welcome the chairman of the Appraisal Committee of the American Gem Society, Kaz Altobelli. Morning.
Morning, Kaz. I'm going to tell you, you got Sarah nervous. She's all nervous about it.
Well, a lot of people.
I tell you.
You know, you go out to buy an engagement ring or whatever. What was your reaction to that Primetime Live story?
I was not shocked.
Really?
It's something that is happening throughout the country in all kinds of retail establishments.
What a shame.
Really?
When honesty should just be the best policy here. You're going to get caught. These guys are now caught red-handed, it seems.
Mr. Altobelli, you're saying it's prevalent, it's throughout the industry, it's that common?
Well, the preponderance of jewelers throughout the United States, I would say, are quite ethical and have a fair amount of knowledge. But there's enough of the other element out there that makes it difficult for the public to feel secure.
Now, we showed a couple of different ways that people can get defrauded of their money. What are some other ways that is switching of diamonds really the most common way?
No, it isn't. I think it's not as prevalent as it used to be 20 years ago. I think today most of the problem areas are in overgrading. People are getting their money's worth. What they've paid is what the item is truly worth rather than the exaggerated value that they've been given. And the diamonds are not the quality that they were purported to be.
Back up just a second. I'm a little trouble understanding what you're saying. You're saying that they're paying for actually what they're getting. In other words,
exactly
they think they're getting a grand deal.
Right. So they're not paying the inflated. So what they're doing is just telling you you've got a much better diamond than you really have. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
There's no free lunches.
Yeah.
You know, it's a matter of if something is supposed to be a higher quality than it's being purported to be, that's kind of fraud in a sense, particularly if it's by scheme and design and there's a great deal of frequency. And with some of the retailers that we dealt with, that is their MO.
Let's talk about some of the ways of not being defrauded. Let's educate ourselves a little bit. What are the things we need to look for?
Prime is looking for a jeweler or a retail establishment that has integrity, that has a track record of being fair with their price and giving you the quality that it's purported to be. So it really takes a great deal of research, especially when you're going to buy something of great consequence. You really need to research like you would buying a house or anything else.
Better Business Bureau, that sort of thing?
Consumer affairs agencies. You can call the Jewelers Vigilance Committee, which is the police organization of our industry. They would know if there's somebody that has a frequent problem.
I'm sorry, what would you look for, though, in a diamond? Would Sarah and I be able to look at a diamond and tell the difference between two of them?
Yes, in most cases you could. When it comes to the cutting grade of a diamond, this is something that most diamond merchants do not talk about. They talk about the color and the clarity and tell you what the weight is, but a factor that has as much effect on value as the others is the cutting grade. So you need to look at the symmetry of the stone.
We have some examples, Kaz, here.
Right. Now you see the stone on the left weighs almost the same as the one on the right. There's only 3 points difference. One is 208 and one is 205 carats. The one on the right has the better proportions and symmetry and finish. So you're
How is that? I mean, I'm looking at the two of them, and they look pretty good to me.
It gets pretty sophisticated. They both have a great deal of brilliance and dispersion, but if you were to see them in actual life right up close, you could see that one has much less dispersion and brilliance than the other.
But you'd have to look under one of those eyepieces that you
No.
use. You don't?
No,
Just
for
put
the
it under a good
symmetry, you
light?
can look at them just with your
right.
eyeball, and you can see that one has a lot more life than the other.
I see. And that wouldn't be a consequence of the color?
No, it wouldn't.
Wouldn't. It would
No.
just be how much brilliance is coming from the cut.
Right.
All right, so symmetry is one area.
Right.
What's another area?
The color of the stone,
Right.
Very critical as well.
Whoa,
see
now
the
that's
difference there.
pretty obvious.
This
yeah.
is a gross disparity. The one on the left is a colorless stone, where the one on the right falls at the bottom of the scale, which is a T color. It's getting close to being, if it was more intense, a fancy colored yellow diamond.
Yeah, what about the canary diamond, though? Evidently there's some value to that, and that's almost, what, a yellow?
Intense yellow, and that's
Yeah.
when it really has a great deal of
Then the
beautiful
value
see.
starts going up again,
That's right.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Absolutely.
interesting?
All right.
Pale yellow is not so hot, but
Right.
all right.
What about clarity?
Clarity of the stone, in many instances, the stone will be free of inclusions
Oh,
to
yeah,
the
look at
unaided
that.
eye. But in this particular situation, you can see the one on the left
They
is,
still got some coal in that one on the right.
the one on the right is pretty bad. This falls into the I category.
Uh-huh.
And this can
I
be
meaning the letter I as
imperfect.
far as... Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right.
And cost?
Cost is a very important factor, of course. As we saw in the shopping network ad, where the value was purported to be $1,200, and they had it on sale for $399. Well, after examination, close examination, we determined the value of that ring was just $399. It
Well,
wasn't
what's a fair price for a carat?
all things taken into consideration as far as a medium range, a good color, a good clarity, a good symmetry, we could be looking in an area of, say, $8,000 to $12,000.
That much, okay.
Really? So 1 carat at minimum should be, I mean, a good quality should be $8,000?
I would think that would be a reasonable
Wow.
statement.
All right, now you buy your diamond at a store. You find a reputable store. You look the diamond over very carefully. You're about to walk out the door. What do you need to have in your hand to protect yourself?
Very critical question, and that would be to get a statement, written statement, that in the event that the diamond is not worth what it's purported to be and the quality isn't what it's purported to be, that I would have the option to return it for a full refund. Within
How
a reasonable-
detailed should that receipt be?
Should give the, by GIA standards, the Gemological Institute of America, the color and the clarity grade, and then a description as to what the symmetry and the polish
plot,
or the
in
finish
other
are,
words.
the cutting of the stone,
Yeah.
and the weight of the stone
Here
as
it is,
well.
for
There's a-
example. This is a
yeah.
drawing, yeah. What do they call it, a plot?
This is a
plot.
plot or a chart, and it identifies the stone by having dimensions, both length, width, and depth, and a blueprint of the inclusions internally as well as any external
Well,
characteristics.
Kaz, thank
Hey,
you very,
gosh,
very
I've
much.
learned a lot
we learned
today.
a lot this morning.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you
a lot.
very
Thank
much.
you.
We'll be right